Ducks fans, are you ready? You are listening to the Ducks and Pucks podcast. This is the #1 home for Anaheim Ducks talk and analysis. Here we go.
Welcome to the show. This is your host, Mike Walters, along with my co-host, Eddie Richard, and we are back. And not only are we back, but Zegras and Drysdale are back. They, we had our last show, the shorthanded Ducks, and they are back. Eddie, I am pretty ecstatic that they're here. We can talk about their contracts and whatnot, but I know what you like to talk about. Have you had anything to drink yet?
Nope, I'm on the wagon. I'm so kidding. No, I'm not. No, I'm actually under the weather, not feeling 100%. I've been fighting this flu thing I have, but it's not stopping me. I have Twisted Tea, original iced tea. I've been a flavored drinker, 5% alcohol, so it's actually pretty cool. And I have my Pink Whitney shooters. How about you, Mike? What are you drinking?
Nice. I've had a couple Coors Lights. Nothing, super exciting. I know it's kind of water to some people, but whatever. I've had a long day.
Coors Light rocks. I love Coors Light.
Yeah, I just had a long day. A lot going on in the regular world, I guess you should say. So I had to have a couple before we started the show just to mellow out. It's been a long day and a long week, I should say. But I am excited. We got good news earlier this week. We had Zegras signing a 3-year deal at $5.75 million. Then we had Drysdale right before we recorded the show, also signing a 3-year deal, but his at $2.3 million. And I'm just happy to have these guys back. I know we were kind of maybe a little bit pessimistic on the last show, but I'm just happy. The deals are done. We can move on, focus on hockey. We're talk about both of their deals and what we think, and we'll talk a lot about the roster. It's not quite finished yet. There's some question marks. Some stuff about Carlsson was talked about lately. Some stuff about the goalies and net that we'll talk about. Kind of interesting. So we'll go over a lot of that on this show. A lot of your fan questions as well, so we'll break all that down. But to start it off, of course, we've got to talk about Zegras and Drysdale. Eddie, just your initial reaction or what, the contracts, or what do you think, man? I mean, I just really pumped up that this is done and we can get going.
No, are you talking to me as a Ducks and Pucks podcaster, or are you talking to me as a fanboy on these contracts? It's kind of a difference. But shit, I think it's a fair deal for both of them. I think Zegras signed a really team-friendly deal. If he's not going to develop the way the Ducks want him to develop, and I don't see that. I just see him skyrocketing and being a better player once he gets more and more comfortable each season, each year. So I think it's going to be great. As far as Drysdale, it's kind of a mystery thing with Tim. He's only played 2 seasons. I want to say 100+ games or something like that. So we had a small sample size of what he can do, but he's a really smart defenseman when he's out there. When he first started, just like Cam Fowler got thrown in the mix during the injuries, he looks just poised. He looks smart. He doesn't really panic on the play. I think he's going to develop really well if he can stay healthy, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, it's a great deal for both of them. And it's not really a fanboy deal, I guess. I think these contracts were good, and I'm glad the Ducks didn't go and kind of pay for the player that he's projected to be, but I'm glad they paid for the player that he is right now, and I think it's a nice, fair deal for each thing. I text Z and Drysdale too. I'm like, hey, what's up, homies? You guys need to sign real quick, blah blah blah, sign this week so we can do this podcast and we can talk about it. And they text me back saying, all right, we're gonna sign because of you. So I got them signed. So you guys thank me later.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think they're both fair deals. We had a fan poll question I put out there on X, formerly known as Twitter, whatever, asking you guys, what do you guys think for Zegras? I said, hey, sounds like it's going to be a 3-year deal. What amount would be good? The annual amount, and it would put out $4 million, $5 million, $6 million, $7 million, and almost half of you said $6 million, and the amount was 5.75. So half of you that took that poll, you were right on. A quarter of you thought $5 million, just above 25% thought $5 million. Then about 21% thought $7 million, and then just a small handful of you thought $4 million. So we talked about that in the last show. We talked about how it should have been at least $5 million, at least, and it ended up coming in there. A good site to follow, Evolving Hockey. They talk about all these contracts. They had Zegras projected at 3 years at $6 million, and that's what you, the fans, almost half of you projected. So you guys are all right on. Very, very close. So very good. I thought it was interesting. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. 3 years. I think it's kind of a show me contract for him. See what he's going to do, and then. I think this contract actually benefits Zegras because we just got word that the cap is going to go up to 87 or 88 million. So, if Zegras does well these next 3 years, like we all, hope and think he will, then he can turn into even a bigger contract longer, in the future. So, I don't know. I think it's a win-win for both, but I think if Zegras, performs in place the way he does this next 3 years, Eddie, then I think it's going to help him greatly going into negotiations next time around.
Oh, definitely. And you can kind of people compare Jack Hughes to Trevor Zegras, that same flair, the kind of same style they play. When Jack Hughes got his 8-for-8 contract, I think he only had 100. He actually had 108 points coming to this contract year. And yeah, he exploded and almost got 100 points this past season, but still, that's something significant right there. And they gave him that huge amount of money for the player that he's going to become. And it paid dividends for New Jersey because he went over here and scored 99 points. As far as Trevor Zegras, had 139 points coming to his contract year, so that's something to take in consideration. I think Verbeek, people were really mad because he didn't really sign Zegras and Drysdale to those longer-term extensions that they're used to seeing around the league, but I'm glad that he stood firm. And like I said, I think it's a fair deal. And if Zegras can pull it off and keep just kind of climbing in the points, climbing as a hockey player, and really stand out and be that stud that he's projected to be, he's coming in for a huge payday. And that 6 or 5 point whatever million he's getting is going to triple probably, especially with the salary cap going up. It's only going to pay dividends for him come later down in the future. So I'm happy with it. I'm glad he's back. The boys are happy seeing the video. All the boys stick tapping for him to come back. So I'm looking forward to see what he brings to the table this year. I'm looking forward to the next couple years and when his contract's up, what he's going to get after that, and what he does prior to that.
We had one fan question too about Zegras. William A. Martin on Instagram. He asked, "How many points do you think Zegras will score this season?" I'm thinking over 70. What are you thinking, Eddie?
I'll put around 80. I think he'll get 80.
Okay.
He's going to be playing top line minutes. You have Terry that obviously proven that he's not a fluke. If you throw Leo Carlsson in the mix, his silk hands, his passing, it's just all going to just pay dividends for Zegras. But he's going to get those huge minutes. He's going to get the power play time. And he's going to have every opportunity to succeed and score that. But I think 80, I think 70 to 80 will be fair. Like you said, 70, I'm throwing 80, but I think that's a fair number to give him. Anything less, it's just you can't really digress from the seasons that he had prior. So I'm looking forward to what he brings to the table, and I'm looking forward to those highlight reel goals. And I'm just looking forward to what the hell he's going to do next to stun everybody like he has before. He actually made the news, too. He's dating some famous YouTuber or TikToker, whatever. She's really famous, so he's dating her. So he made that spotlight, too. So hopefully his head's in the hockey game and not somewhere else where shouldn't be during games.
And you talked about playing with Terry and then Carlsson too, and I'll kind of save the Carlsson stuff for a little bit later in the show. But those three are playing in the Arizona game. This last game that the Ducks are playing in. So it's kind of ongoing right now. We'll see how they do. But I'm curious if that's the top line to start the season, because there's word that Carlsson's going to be with the Ducks during the season. I'll save that. We'll get to that when we talk about the roster, but that could definitely improve his point total as well. Those three together, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm with you. I think at least 70, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got in the 80 mark for points this season. So very, very excited with Zegras. With Drysdale, I was a little bit surprised with his contract. It's 3 years at $2.3 million. Evolving Hockey had it at 2.4. A lot of you asked us questions about Drysdale. Of course, when we put out the ask for the questions, this was before we knew that Drysdale was going to be signed, which was funny because I had people blowing me up and I said it's going to happen soon. I think within the next couple of days. Eddie posted that on X. He said it's going to happen this week, and then the next day it happened. So we were telling everybody we were pretty sure it was going to happen, and then it did happen. And I'm glad it happened before we recorded the show because, that usually happens afterwards. But some interesting stuff with Drysdale is you had him being hurt. You had Elliot Freeman talking about him a lot. Apparently there was some bullshit claim that the Ducks were being investigated because Drysdale didn't play at the end of last season. And I like what Elliot Freeman did. He went back and put some stuff together and researched some things. But Drysdale was out medically for 6 months. There was maybe a hope of him coming back in 4 or 5 months, which the doctor said was not really a legitimate hope. So there was some concern, though, because of the way it affected Drysdale's contract as far as like arbitration status, UFA status, and things like that maybe the Ducks had held him out on purpose. But I don't think that was the case at all. I really think that they let him heal up and took the summer to come back, and I think that was the right move. I don't really think that was a big thing as far as affecting his contract. Obviously, yes, he could have played a couple games and it would have changed some of the landscape. But the bottom line is he still wouldn't have had arbitration going into this. So it was still more in the driver's seat of Verbeek. So the only thing is I did hear some rumblings that Verbeek wanted a little bit of a longer deal, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I think this deal works out for Drysdale and the Ducks too, because unfortunately Drysdale was hurt regardless of the return timetable and whatnot. And I think this is a deal for him too, to do his 3 years. And then, he's got to, prove himself a little bit more and maybe get a bigger deal. And I think that's why it ended up being in the 2 ranges, and not maybe the 3 or the 4s. But a lot of interesting stuff that they were talking about this last week with Drysdale. What did you think about that contract and his injury status and the stupid claim that the Ducks kept him out on purpose? I thought that was a bunch of hogwash.
Yeah, it's just reaching. People are reaching just to find some clout in the social media world. I think it was bullshit. You don't play hockey, professional hockey, that long, and you're supposed to just throw you out on a team that's already out of the playoffs. That's pretty much the dead last team in the league. There's no point. What if he's re-injured? What if he's not conditioned enough to come in? Ease him into it. You don't just throw pretty much him into the shark-infested water like that. That'd be irresponsible for the Ducks to do that. And I'm glad they took the route they did. It wasn't anything for arbitration rights. I think it was more just making sure they're protecting their investment for the future. You don't want him hurt the whole offseason where he's not going to be training, getting back to form. I mean, it's not like back in the day where these players go and just, get OV drunk the whole entire offseason. These players are training, they're keeping up with their routines, they're keeping in really good shape. So when they come to training camp, it's not like they're starting from day one and getting to that form back. They're already good to go by that. So I think it was a really responsible thing for the Ducks, their staff, that they did. People, like I said, people just throwing out that fake thing just for clout are just irresponsible and terrible. And I don't even want to call them journalists. They're just pieces of shit that almost want to just kind of reach for a story to get clicks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, here's the thing. You got to do what's best for the person. And that's what you would hope a coach, GM, management would do. And like you pointed out, Eddie, it's a good point. Take away the arbitration stuff and the UFA status, whatever. Take, whatever with that stuff. We can, argue that back and forth. But here's the thing. You're in last place. You're not doing well. We already knew the season was over several weeks before the season was really over. I mean, you're going to throw Drysdale, who's been out almost 5 months, into a couple games over his arbitration status? I just think that's silly, and I'm with you. I think that the Ducks did the right thing there. Keep him out, heal him up. The contract thing, whatever. So, I'm with you. I just think that was whoever was throwing that stuff around, I don't know. They're drinking something. Something with something in it. I don't know. Whatever was in it. I don't want it because they're hallucinating some shit. But overall, I'm happy. I think both deals are fair each way, and I think it'll give the Ducks, some leeway in the cap space. If you look at cap friendly, they're still at over $9 million in cap space. Obviously, they'll have things to deal with next season and figure out some stuff, but it gives them room. if they're going to try to move some people like we talked about the trade deadline, or try to sign someone else or whatnot, they still have options. And you got your best two guys back, sitting right at $8 million cap hit for the next 3 years. I mean, that's outstanding. I think it's great. So I'm really looking forward to it. I do want to mention this though, and I talked to Eddie about this before the show, and I don't, those of you that know me and Eddie, I'm a really positive person, and I will be objective on this show. We will, but overall I'm positive. But I don't like to be critical of other people that are in the media. But this time I can't hold back. Frank Saravelli, man, you got yourself a big L on this thing with Zegras, and you're sitting there saying this stuff about how nothing's happening, and then minutes later, contract signed. And then over the summer, you were so adamant that Gibson wasn't going to play ever again for the Ducks, and here he is already playing in preseason games, and he's going to be there at the beginning of the season. It's just kind of frustrating to me. I don't know. I don't like to do it, but I just wanted to throw it out there. A lot of these guys, they do a great job, but with Frank the Tank, anything with the Ducks, I'm just not going to believe anymore. I hate to say that, but I just got to throw it out there. I just thought it was very, very comical that he was so adamant that nothing was going on, and then all of a sudden Zegras is signed, and the same thing with Gibson. So I don't know, just something I wanted to throw in there. I just thought it was kind of the Comedy Central of the week with him. I don't know, Eddie. It just kind of amused me this week. I try not to jump on other people. There's a lot of people that do a great job in this industry, but man, Frank, dude. I don't know who you talk to about the Ducks, but they're not giving you the right info.
Yeah, you're 100% right, and I'll be critical of the media, and I would 100% all media, not just hockey media. I studied media. My associates is in communications. I did reporting and writing the news with the fantastic professor, old school professor. She made us write everything out. She gave us a lot of assignments. She told us the right way to do journalism, that with integrity. And as much work as she gave us and assigned us, she was over there with her red pen, marking every little thing up. She was one of the biggest influence of my life. Meg O'Neill is her name, professor. So she pretty much put the standard in journalism. And Frank Saravelli posting stuff like that, like I said, just for clout, just for clicks, without really factual basis, because you probably heard a rumor through the grapevine. I think it's really irresponsible and stupid. You're putting these players and their family into your crosshairs, and it's just not fair. Like, what do you think about John Gibson's family, his wife, hearing news like, oh, he's going to be traded, he's going to do this? Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it once we hear it, but you have no factual evidence, you have no proof. You're saying that Zegras and Drysdale aren't going to be here, blah, 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 they're not going to sign. You get signed moments later. I mean, what goes to, like I said, what goes to the head of these players' families? Like, they're people too. They're not just stories you can throw out there just for clicks. I don't know. Maybe he's using too much hair gel on his balding head or wherever he's going, but I think it's been really irresponsible for him to do that. And it just sucks because there's a lot of journalists out there, a lot of hockey journalists that could do a really great job. Elliot Freeman is a really great journalist. Kevin Weeks, same thing, just provides the facts when he has factual information. Frank Saravelli seemed to be dropping the ball this offseason, so I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, he's drinking the stuff that's making people hallucinate, like you mentioned earlier, but man, that's totally dropping the ball right there. It's totally irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, even with the Gibson thing, you had his agent come out after him. So, I mean, that's not good, dude. That's just not good. It's one thing to say stuff about rumors and stuff, but when you're like talk about absolutes, you got to be careful, dude. I mean, you better have it ready. All right, so let's talk about the Ducks roster. There's a lot of stuff going on here that's unresolved with the Ducks roster. A lot of stuff. And some stuff that came up actually just this week. So we'll break this next segment down. We'll talk about the forwards. We'll talk about the defense. And now there's some drama in net too, which is kind of surprising. But let's go with the forwards. Kind of looking at what the Ducks have right now. They got to get down to 23 players, right? So you're looking at 2 goalies, usually 7 or 8 defensemen, and then 13 or 14 forwards. So looking at the forwards, this is kind of what the Ducks have got going on. I kind of broke it down on who's on there and who might be on there and whatnot. You've got, obviously, Adam Henrique, Max Jones, McTavish, Silverberg, Strome, Terry, Vetrano, and Zegras. There's all your forwards. You have Lundstrom, who's on the IR, and Kaliyev, they had that fractured finger that we just learned about, so he's out for several weeks. So, I don't know if they'll put him on the IR or not. If they do, that frees up another spot. So you're looking at only like 8 forwards right there. Then you've got Carlsson, which it sounds like from what Verbeek is saying, he's going to be with the Ducks and play. He's going to be in. I mean, it's going to be good to go for him. He's saying that the quote that he put out there, which is a little bit of a confusing quote. Some people are kind of reading into it, but he said, the way I see it, he's going to be in the NHL all year. It's just a matter of how many games he's going to play over the course of the season. That was on Sirius NHL radio. Some people reading into the NHL all year. I don't really think he meant NHL all year. I think he meant NHL this year. So I wouldn't get too crazy about that. Some people are like, oh my God, like he's going to be with the team the whole year. I wouldn't read too much in that. He's definitely going to play with the Ducks this year. I think it's just a question of how many games. So you throw him in the mix. Then the other people you've got left on there, you've got Cassian, DeLeo, who we just found out is out 8 weeks with a knee injury, so he's out. Grew, Agazino, Leeson, and McGinn. So it'll be interesting to see who gets in there. You get Carlsson in there, you're talking about 9 guys if you don't count Kaliyev. You got to get at least 4 or 5 more. You have Cassian still on PTO. DeLeo's out. So you may have some of those other guys in there between Cassian, Grew, Agazino, Leeson, or McGinn. Most of those guys are probably going to be in the mix as well. What do you think about the forward situation, Eddie? How many games do you think Carlson's going to play? What do you think about some of these other guys if they're going to make the lineup or not?
Well, if you're saying like you don't know how many games he's gonna play, why even keep him up? I'm talking about Leo Carlsson. Like that makes zero sense at all. That quote was kind of weird. Like if you're not planning on using him as many games as he can play, like, what's the point of keeping him up? You don't want to just take him out of the lineup and kind of do what Seattle did with not Matty Beniers. I'm sorry, Shane Wright. They just had him up with the season for 7-8 games. They held him off a number of games so they can send him to the AHL for reconditioning. It's just not fair and the proper development for a player. So if you don't plan to play him, then just send him back down or send him back to Sweden, let him play with the SHL or send him to San Diego. There's no point to keep him up there if you're not going to play him as many games as possible or get him adjusted to the NHL and let him develop properly. As far as the rest of the lineup, it sucks that Kaliyev got injured signing the contract. People were on Twitter, or I'm sorry, X now. That I guess the porno site's gonna happen soon. They were saying it's like Duck's luck. He signs that big contract. He could have pretty much helped the team out. That veteran guy, he knows how to win. He wants to win, even though he's on this team that he knows it's not going to go anywhere this season. And let's be real, people. This Ducks team is not going to make the wild card spot. They're not going to make the playoffs. If they happen to squeak in the playoffs, they're going to get blown away. So there's no point to even have that justification in your mind that this team's going to be competitive. They're not. The whole goal is for this team to get better as a unit and kind of just build around other players and kind of get back to that winning ways that they're used to. But it's going to be interesting too with the maybes. It's a fortunate Chase DeLeo with his awesome 69 hockey jersey. I was waiting for him to make the lineup. But yeah, he's a good guy, Mike. We've talked to him. Both of us talked to him via DM a few times. He's just down to earth, just a normal person. He loves the game. He loves California. Loves the Ducks. So I was really hoping that he'd make the lineup, until unfortunately that little bitch Kaliyev decides to throw a cheap shot at him. And I don't care, like Kaliyev, and it has to be the Kings too. That was the most cheapest shot you can actually give. And Kaliyev is I don't wish injuring on any other people, but I really hope he gets fucking injured bad. I hope he gets his throat taken out or something. Like that guy's a piece of crap. Gudas hits him, and then he goes after Chase DeLeo instead of going after Gudas. Like, come on. Going off topic there, but I think our group looks good. So I'm looking forward to seeing which team, who makes it, who's in, who's not in an opening lineup. But like I said, as far as Leo Carlsson, I hope he plays as many games as he can, not just thrown out there here and there and just kind of having him linger around because that's not really going to help his development.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the comments felt the way you did too. They thought that he would get 9 games and then get sent back down. Don't burn a year of his entry-level deal. So I'm really curious to see how that pans out. Now that Kaliyev is out, you mentioned DeLeo is out. DeLeo, yeah, what's funny is I posted the video of him getting hit in that Kings game, and he actually sent me a DM, and he was not happy. He said that it was a quote, fucking cheap shot. From Kaliyev, and he was just not happy about that at all. So the video's out there. I posted on X if you haven't seen it. And then the NHL Player Safety, obviously, they posted the video too. Kaliyev got 4 games, 2 preseason, 2 regular season, which I think it should have been more. DeLeo's out for at least 2 months now, and it was bad. I think he didn't realize it at first because he watched the video I had posted, and then was kind of like, oh man, that really was a cheap shot, or an effing cheap shot, as he said. So it's unfortunate that he's out. Like I said, Kaliyev they can maybe put on the IR too. Kind of the wild card in all this is Cassian, I guess. We had our buddy TOMO_WB, which is Tom on Instagram. He asked if Cassian would get a contract. I probably would have said no. I don't think he would have a little while back, but now with Kaliyev out and DeLeo out, he might get a contract and play. But I really haven't been that impressed by him. I was watching that Ducks Kings game, and I wasn't really that excited. I just didn't feel like he had a lot of an impact. But he could squeak in there and get on the team. We also had Larry Goubeau on Facebook asked us about Leeson. And if he's going to play on the 3rd or 4th line. I think he's more of a 4th liner. I think Leeson will probably squeeze in there. Definitely bottom 6, probably 4th line. I think Bo Gru gets in there. And then it probably comes down to Cassian, Agazino, and McGinn. Who's going to make it out of that group? I think Leeson and Gru make it in there. And then it depends, too, on what the Ducks are going to do. Are they going to do 13 or 14 forwards? So that's where I wrap it up with. Any last kind of thoughts there on the forward group before we move to the defense, Eddie?
Yeah, regarding that hit too about Chase DeLeo, what pissed me off, and I keep echoing this: the Ducks need to get back to their dirty Duck ways and get more grit. This player intentionally took out DeLeo, and he's out for 2 months. You can see that knee intentionally stuck out, and Henrique, what he goes over there and is hugging him, jerking him off, beat his ass, holy crap. If someone touched one of my teammates or one of my friends or hurt them like that, you best believe I'm going to go off. I don't care. I'll pop off real quick. And it's just, this team doesn't have that fight in them. And that's what the thing is lacking. I know the sport's getting watered down. And hockey is just, people don't want to touch each other. They want to just hold hands and have some Skittles and whatever. But that kind of play, that deserves some retribution. And the 4 games, the 2 preseason, the 2 regular season, that was a joke. Department of Player Safety, George Perro's biggest joke in the world. They just, I don't know why they even exist. They don't really care about the player safety. Their rules are so weird. As long as no one fights and the referees get involved, it's sad where this game is heading toward and has came to. I want to say 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you took a run-it player like that, preseason or not, your ass is going to be kicked and you're never going to do it again. And Kaliyev's repeat offender, and it just shows him hey, you know what? I took out this guy for 2 months, and I just get 4 games, or actually 2 actual games that matter. Why not do it again? I hope he gets hurt. I'm sorry I say that, but I really hope he does.
Well, and the other thing, too, in that game against the Kings played like their starting lineup. The Ducks had a mix of starters and rookies in that game, and it's preseason. Really? And, you kind of saw that with Stone in Vegas, too, right? They went after him and hit him, and he got pissed. And, you can argue whatever you want to say about that hit, but Stone, went back at him. And I think DeLeo didn't really realize how bad it was because, he watched the video that we posted and then he said it. But going forward, yeah, man, come on. This is a preseason game. Gudas takes a hit at Kaliyev, and then you just run and go hit another player. It's just uncalled for, and it sucks because it's always I just feel like it's always against the Kings. Something stupid like this happens. So that part was frustrating. Yeah, the Ducks lost that preseason game, but they didn't have their starting lineup in there. So I'm not really stressed about it. I'm with you. I'm really curious to see the next time the Ducks play the Kings, what's going to happen. One thing that was cool in that game is, some of the preseason games, they do shootouts. Sometimes they don't. But, and yes, the Ducks lost that shootout too. But holy crap, man. What about Carlsson's shootout goal, man? That's some smooth shit right there. That was good. I loved it. What did you think about the shootout goal, Eddie?
Oh, Mike, man, I had to pull up the lube after that. I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry. That was inappropriate. But no, that was really slick. He did not look like a player has never played in NHL at all before. He made it look so easy, like it was just shooting on a random beer league goalie. I hope we can see more of that from him. I know he has a lot of developing to do. He's mentioned too that he wants to work on his foot speed and getting that acceleration off faster. But I think he's a special player, and I know people are still, some people are still upset about Bedard. Same here. I know people are so upset about Fantalia, us not getting him, but I think we made the right choice, and the player that's going to fit this organization and hopefully become a superstar. Like I mentioned before, I don't think Fantalia would have wanted to stay with the Ducks. He already made that clear in certain interviews. But I think we got a really winner, and hopefully he can just keep developing and become a superstar. This team has a bright future, and they're going to be super dangerous, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to us looking back on, hey, remember the Ducks were dead last? Remember they got screwed in the draft? Remember this? Remember that? And now it's like, I can't wait to the time where I can say, hey, look at us now. We just won another Stanley Cup, and with the roster that we had and these players that were kind of like developed on our own, we just didn't go out and buy a Stanley Cup. So that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, the future's bright for this team. I mean, you've got Carlsson on the mix on offense getting in there. Obviously, you got Zegras back. With now playing with Terry in this game against Arizona, and they're very deadly in this game. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. And then, going into the defense, the Ducks, I think we're going to see some new faces there, some excitement as well. I mean, you're looking at, obviously now Drysdale signed, so you've got him, Fowler, Gudas, and Vakanainen that are going to be on there. Probably looking at 7 to 8 defensemen to make the roster. Lacombe has been impressive. I liked him in that Kings game. Man, he was taking some hits and taking some people out, and he's been doing that all preseason. So I really think Lacombe's going to get up there in the mix, and that'll give you 5 guys, and then you've got to figure out, and I'm not talking about the burger place, sorry, but you're going to have 5 guys on the defense. But at least for sure, what I'm looking at. And then you've got Luneau, Labushkin, Minty Kulov, Thompson that they picked up recently, and Zellweger. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Obviously, Minty and Zell and Luneau are waiver exempt, so they could all be sent down. I think maybe Labushkin and Thompson, they make it, but I think maybe we get to see Zellweger or Minty in the beginning of the season, or if not, or for some games. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be good, man. You add those guys in there, there's going to be some excitement on the blue line. You've got, some great two-way guys. We wrote that article on Thompson as well, and his defense is a little bit suspect, as I wrote in the article, but he's a good two-way defenseman, strong on the puck. He's willing to jump up in there, so I'm real. That's probably the most excited about this team is the blue line, because you have the potential for these guys to go in there and be exciting. I mean, I think the blue line is what I'm really curious. I want to see what Verbeek's going to do. Is he going to go with, the 7 or 8 defensemen, and how he's going to play that out? He might go with 8, the way that it's going right now. But I'm excited. Like I said, looking at how the defense is played. They weren't great against the Kings that game. I know some people were talking about that, but again, that was the Kings pretty much starting lineup against mishmash of the Ducks lineup. So the blue line is where I'm excited to see. I think that we're going to see Minty and Zellweger this season. How many games, I don't know, but I think we'll get to see both, and I think the blue line is going to be entertaining this season, Eddie.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do too. I think that's what the most thing I'm excited about for this upcoming season. Obviously, seeing how Drysdale bounces back, how Zegras, how he comes in, and what he can do this season. But the blue line, we had 3 of our prospect defensemen win the defenseman of the year in their respective leagues and clubs. So it's just gonna go up from there. Zellweger, I'm hearing nothing but good things about him from teammates, watching some of his plays too. It's going to be a special thing, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think, like I said, yeah, this season's not going to go anywhere. The Ducks aren't going to make the playoffs, but I think it's going to be a better team. And that's all I asked for, the Ducks to improve from last season. I mean, you can't really go any worse, knock on wood. I don't want to say that. And us get any worse. But I think it's going to, it's time to start climbing out of the hole that the Ducks have been digging themselves in and go up from there. So, looking forward to it. I wanted to just kind of break this off too, Mike.
Yeah.
A little off script, but I've been talking to Ruth Darlene. Do you know her? She has those tickets behind the Ducks bench.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to surprise you, and I was gonna keep it a secret, but I need to know the days you're free. But I'm gonna buy a couple tickets off her so we can go watch the game right behind the Ducks bench.
Sounds
January
good
and February, so it's gonna be your birthday present. So happy early birthday! It's come January, and I was gonna keep it a secret, but I need to know the day so I can let her know. I told her I would let her know by the end of this week so I can get the tickets from her. But yeah, so I hope you're looking forward to your TV debut, Mike, and right in front of right behind the Ducks bench, and should be a good time. So happy early birthday! I'm looking forward to attending that game with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ruth's awesome. She's a good friend. She's had those tickets down there behind the Ducks bench. Amazing seats. I really appreciate it. We'll have a blast, man. I like sitting down low for different reasons too. You see how fast the game really is. You hear the yelling on the ice. You get to see the checks up close. I mean, it's always a good time. Obviously the tickets when you sit down closer to the ice aren't the cheapest. They're obviously more expensive. But if you ever get a chance to get tickets and sit down by the glass, I mean, anywhere is not bad. I've done it, I think, maybe twice. It's a very, very rare that I've gotten to sit down low. I'm usually sitting way up in the nosebleed. So it'll be a fun time, dude. We'll have a great time. I appreciate it. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I remember my first time sitting glass seats. There was these guys pre-gaming with my ex-wife in the parking lot. We're just chilling. These guys came up to me and they're like, "Hey, we have glass seats from our company. Do you want to buy them?" I was like, at that time, it's like I can't afford that. Blah blah. They're like, "Oh, okay, no problem." And I said, "Hey, you guys want some beer?" Give them some beers. Almost like an hour later, they came back like, "Hey, well, we didn't sell the tickets. If you want, you can have the tickets." It was against Atlanta Thrashers. I remember that. My first time sitting behind the glass seats, and it was just a different experience. And man, I remember I can't remember those guys' names, but I really want to thank them, and that was awesome. I do love sitting higher though, so I can see the whole game. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun, unique experience. Ruth was awesome, and I DM'd her and stuff like that. She's a really nice person, so I'm looking forward to January. Now we can actually celebrate both of our birthdays going to a game. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Both of us are Team Capricorns. We've joked about before. So,
and we had a lot of loss in January too. So it's like,
yeah, January is always a good time, man. It's always a good time. I'm trying to look at the schedule right now. You got me all excited. I'm like, what's going on in January? I'm like,
Yeah, she offered me the Buffalo game, but I was like, oh, maybe we could do it in February. She has a Friday game too, so I figure I'm going on vacation January, so I got to figure out my vacation. I was supposed to go to Cancun, but apparently I can't go because it's a really hot spot right now for Americans, and where I work, I have to get actually clearance to go. So I have my security clearance, so I really can't just go where I want to. But no matter what, we're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna pick the right date. And if Friday will work better if I'm off work too. So.
Yeah, I'm off on Fridays normally, so
nice.
Yeah, well, look, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it'll be fun, dude. Sitting down low is always a good time.
We'll be on TV, so I got to lose a little more weight.
I'm working on that too, my man. Oh man, no, that's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be good. It'll be good. Start off 2024 sitting down low, and I still have my tickets too. And I know there's some people that have asked me about some games. If you guys are ever interested and whatnot. about going to certain games. We've been giving away a lot of stuff too, by the way. I've been giving away preseason games on Instagram. So if you go on there and follow us, you'll see them on there. Gave away the free Z t-shirt, which now he is free, but we gave away some of that on X. Like we've talked about too, we've been giving away a lot of stuff early this season, and we're going to keep on rolling with that too. But if you're interested in any games and you want to go, hit me up. My work schedule is insanely crazy now. I feel like I have like a full-time job and a part-time job with the stuff that I do. I'm just really, really busy. It's just crazy. And then trying to do this, it's a lot. but if you guys are ever interested in games and you're looking for tickets, just hit me up and we'll figure out something. But yeah. So getting back, I guess, to the roster, I guess the thing that's kind of the most controversial thing, which I didn't think was going to be controversial, is the goalies now. I mean, so like we said, Carlsson, playing on the forwards, looking good. Defense, trying to see which new guys will be in there as well. But Verbeek was also on the radio, Sirius Radio, and he was talking about the goalie situation. He was talking about how there's this competition between all three goalies, and that they're going to decide at the end of this week who's going to be the starter and who's going to be the backup. And I was like, what? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a vague question, but I'm like, well, isn't Gibson going to be the starter? And then you have to decide between Stalock and Drysdale? I mean, I don't know. That's what I thought. That's what I had down, because we had that from Nick Derry asked that. He said, who's going to be backing up Gibson this year? And that's what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about, the discussion was going to be Drysdale or Stalock. But then Verbeek made that comment on the radio, kind of threw me for a loop. So I'm kind of like, well, wait a second. I mean, Gibson going down to AHL, obviously there's no way in hell that's going to happen. So maybe he's going to see if, I don't know, Drysdale or Stalock start and then Gibson's a backup? I mean, I don't know. It just kind of threw me for a loop. Like, what do you think? Do you think it was just kind of a vague comment, Eddie? Or, is he just saying that to, keep everybody on their toes and guessing? I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was very weird.
He just said it just to make competition. Let's be real. Stalock is a journeyman. He's not a reliable, well, he is reliable, but he's not a starter goalie. He's not someone that you want that 1A, 1B kind of punch. It's going to be between Gibson and Drysdale. I want Drysdale to get more time in net, and I was I was an advocate about trading Gibson this past offseason, and I think they should have. And that's my opinion. I think this team isn't going to be competitive for a few more seasons, so why kind of waste Gibson's prime years? You could have got so much more for him, and you could have built this team better and better and better. It's not fair for Gibson, and I feel for him having to face 40 shots per night. I think it was last season he faced the most shots in NHL history of the whole season. It's just that wears and tears on a goalie, and he wants to win. He wants to be competitive, and he is that guy to kind of boost that team and get them to the next level. And I think every team that's in a playoff spot that wants to win a Stanley Cup could benefit from him. And why not just throw the reign to Drysdale and let him develop like that, get him all the games and experience that he can get. And he's a capable goalie. He's great. At the end of last season, the team was just hell. Yeah, his numbers didn't look that well on paper, but it's like watching him and all the shots he faced. He made some great saves. He kept the Ducks in a lot of games. So I think the whole thing what Verbeek was saying was just trying to make, I guess, both these Gibson and Drysdale just kind of be on their toes and their feet and try to, fight harder and see who earns it. I hope him or Conan the Barbarian, they don't just kind of take this whole, hey, you start this game, you start that game. I forgot which coach. I want to say it was, I forgot which, Carlisle, that did it with goalies, saying, hey, if you win, you keep playing. If you lose, you don't play. I think that was a stupid strategy. And I'm not sure if it was Carlisle. I'm not 100%, so I apologize if it wasn't him. But, no, we have to establish a starter, and we have to establish a backup and go from there. But I do want to see Drysdale get some more games and more experience under his belt.
Yeah, that's another question we had too from that one grill master on Instagram. And he says, quote, why can't we just give Dostal more minutes and let Gibson sit on the bench some more games? And that's where I'm at. I mean, even with this comment that Verbeek made on the radio, I still think it's Gibson and Dostal. Stalock is, he's a journeyman, like you said, Eddie. Unless for some reason they really think Dostal is not ready and they want to give him more time in the AHL. I mean, I guess they could do that. I mean, the only issue Stalock is obviously not waiver exempt. So, I mean, if there's a risk sending him down and he gets picked up, I don't know if that plays into it at all in the decision-making process with the whole waiver thing and whatnot. And obviously, Dostal is waiver exempt. But that's what I would go with. I would go with Gibson, play him as a starter. I would, like that one grill master talked about, I would get Dostal more minutes for sure. Get him in the mix. Because we talked about this on the show last year. I mean, I really think Dostal is the future. I mean, unless you're going to trade Gibson for another top goalie, if you're going to trade him for a top forward, defenseman, whatever you're going to do, come this trade deadline, because, I know you and I both lean still towards more that he will be traded than not traded, then, get Dostal in there. Get him the minutes. Get him to play more. The other thing, too, is I don't like that burning out Gibson. I mean, you saw in the preseason, too, he got hit, and he ended up throwing up on the ice in that preseason game last week, and it was nasty. He took a stick towards the neck area, and then he got a puck right in the noggin, and he was kind of dazed after that. Fortunately, he was fine, but I know all the critics out there are like, oh my God, Gibson, he gets hurt all the time, yada, yada, yada. So, that's the other thing, and like you mentioned too, him taking all those shots last year was just stupid. It's just ridiculous. So, I'm hoping that doesn't happen this year. I mean, yes, we have a younger defense. I'm excited to have those guys in there. Yes, they're more two-way defensemen. They're more offensive-minded, which, yes, could lead towards more chances for the other team as well. But if there's games where Gibson's facing, 40 to 50 shots, dude, like, throw Dostal in the next game. Whether it's a back-to-back or it's not, like, give him some more time there is what I think. I don't think it should be 60-70% of the games for Gibson. I think you got to break that up a little bit more and get Dostal in there, at least 30-40% of the time. At least, maybe it's not 50-50 split, but, get him in there, get that time, if that's the direction we're going to go, if he's going to be the future, because that's what I kind of see. I don't see Gibson being the long-term future for this team. I really don't. And like you mentioned too, is that, hey, he should have been traded before. So, I don't know. The situation in the net is going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see. I still think, like I said, Gibson's the starter, but I'm curious to see how many games he starts and whatnot, Eddie.
Yeah, I think a 51-31 would be fair, right? Give Gibson the 51 games, Doss the 31. I think that's fair. You're not throwing him out and forcing him to play more games. You're not taking away games from Gibson. I think that's feasible for the Ducks to do, but let's see how they run with it. But like I said, I still think Verbeek is just throwing smoke and trying to get his players to be that much more competitive. But I just have to wait and see. Like I said, there'll be tons of teams lining up for Gibson's services. He established himself as that goalie, and I think he would thrive on a team that's better positioned to be competitive, a team that has better defensive stats, that aren't allowing those 40, 50 shots per game. I think he can really be a game changer. I mean, look at Aiden Hill with Vegas, the third string goalie comes up here, and Vegas's defense was so good. They just limited those hard shots. They made other teams shoot from those hard angles where Aiden Hill can see. They gave him time and space. He thrived on that, and I think that's something Gibson would thrive on that too. And like I said, there's a bunch of other teams that would be interested. I know Gibson has like a modified no trade clause, right, or some kind of clause in his contract, Mike. Yeah, so it's like a team like LA. They have Copley, they have Talbot. Those goalies aren't the goalies that are going to bring in the Stanley Cup that they want. They have a great team, and they built their team internally, and they did a good job doing it. They brought the right players that thrive over there. but their goaltending situation is terrible. Copley stood in his head last season, but he's not that starter goalie. They have pretty much two, qualified backups, but they don't have a starter. I think a team like LA can really benefit for someone like Gibson or Toronto. Obviously, Toronto's always in the mix with everything. You can have a baseball, you can have LeBron James want to be traded, and Toronto will be in the mix for that for some reason. But yeah, a team like that would benefit and has better defensive stats that can really kind of help Gibson not have to take that full load on him. So I just gotta wait and see, and I don't know what's the hesitation about that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong then. Hopefully, if the Ducks is, for some reason, come out firing and be like Seattle, where they just, made a number and a mark on themselves last season. No one thought they were going to do anything. Maybe the Ducks are going to do it this season, and we're going to get players that are just going to just develop their game immensely all year. Then so be it, and I'll gladly come on this show again and say I was so wrong and apologize to everybody. But I'm being a realist in this situation.
Yeah, looking back at Gibson's games, 2017-18, he played 60. 2018-19, 58. 19-20 was 51, and obviously that got shortened a little bit with all the COVID stuff. And then the next season was a shortened season. And then 21-22, 56. And then 22-23, 53. So, I mean, he's been, in the mid to high 50s for most of those seasons. I'm good, like what you said. I'm good with him getting maybe around 50. And then, 50-51, like you said. And then whoever's going to take the other chunk. Don't overextend him. I wouldn't go much higher than 50. I think that's a good solid number. Keep him in there. And again, this is just depending on the defense and what's going to happen. Like we talked about, if the defense is lights out this year, these young guys come in and they just kill it and they play great in front of them, help them out, then okay. But if not, I think a lot of it also depends on the shot count. I mean, if he's just getting destroyed with these shots, because the shots against last year was almost 2,000. It was 1983 in the 22-23 season. I mean, that's just stupid. Almost 2,000 shots against. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, we just can't have that. So that's the big thing.
That sounds like me in Vegas. 2,000 shots for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it too. So it's the games played. Yeah, it's the games played, but it's also, how many shots is he taking? 2,000 shots in 53 games last year. Holy crap, man! And
Mike, that's just the shots that he's actually facing, like that's hitting him. It's not the shots that went wide where he has to prepare himself, move laterally, position himself. So it's probably more than that, like that he has to actually set up for. Mentally and physically.
Right, those are the shots against on goal. You're right. So that's not counting those missed shots. Yeah. So that's tough. That's tough. So that's a big thing. I'm really curious. I'm excited about the defense, but I'm really curious to see how they play in front of Gibson. That's going to be a big key to the season, and how they do. And it kind of goes into, this is kind of where we're wrapping up kind of the big part of the show, I guess, is looking into next season. And what do we think? Eddie threw a question out there like, what are your expectations for the upcoming season? We got our buddy Alex. He said, get another high draft pick, compete for the playoffs next year. And I'm with Alex on that. I think that is reasonable. A lot of you on X said, the Ducks need to have chemistry. They need to be competitive. Obviously, need to be better than last year, which that part's not really that difficult, being last. But no, we do want to be better. Absolutely. So I look at that stuff, and I'm big on that. I think what everybody's saying there is huge. I do have expectations that this team is going to play better, and I honestly am more positive now than I was before. Of course, getting Zegras and Drysdale in there. Carlsson's going to play with the team. We don't know how many games. You have these new guys on defense that are going to be there. I'm very, very positive about this team this year. I know Eddie and I we were kind of, I guess, a little bit more positive last year, and then really dwindled down, obviously. But I'm not going to tell you they're going to win the Stanley Cup. I'm not even going to tell you they're going to make the playoffs and be, this team that, come, April, May, we're going to be watching, But that doesn't concern me. I think the biggest thing is they're going to be competitive. They've got young talent in there, a whole bunch of new coaches in the mix for the Ducks and the Gulls. So I think they are going to be better. If by some miracle they get close to a wild card spot, I think that'd be great. I don't know that they'd be there, but I think they're going to be competitive and more fun to watch this year. Where last year, I feel like last year it was just like everybody was like, it was frustrating last year because it seemed like people wanted them to lose because once we got to like February and we knew that we were in the bottom with Chicago and the Blue Jackets and we weren't going anywhere, then it was like, well, let's get a higher pick, and I'm not going to open that wound. We all know how that went, but looking at that and the expectations this season, I am positive. I think they're going to play better. I think they're going to be fun to watch. You've got some new faces in there. It sucks that Kaloran's going to be out for a little bit. It sucks that DeLeo got hurt right away. The injury thing seems to screw the Ducks the last couple of years, but overall, I'm cautiously optimistic. I guess that's the way I'll put it, Eddie. I think they will do better and they will play better, and I'm looking for that. I think they're going to be a more exciting team, and I'm hoping these games are going to be a lot closer than last season.
Yeah, you said it right. Cautiously optimistic. Yeah, same here. I want the Ducks to play better. Obviously when I go to the games, I want them to win because I'm not going to spend $18 on a beer for them to lose. I'm still going to spend it, but whatever. But yeah, it should be a better year. We have younger players that are really excited to be on the team, that want to make their mark, that are going to go, hard on it and play their best. So, I mean, like I said, we can't go any worse than what we're already at. So we're just gonna just hold our breath, wait for next 2 weeks when we have our season opener. Season opener and home opener, which Mike and I will be at. So if you guys see us, you can say hello. And that's just it. I'm looking forward to the season to start and see what the Ducks can do. Looking forward to going to bars and watching the games. Looking forward to going to the games. I missed hockey a lot, so it's going to be fun regardless if the Ducks, I have no expectation of Ducks winning anything like a Stanley Cup or going into the playoffs, but I'm so happy to see my team play, and I'm so happy to talk about it each and every week with you, Mike, so let's get the season rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because Tom asked us that question too. Like, what's the first game we're going to go to? Who's buying the costly beers?
Well, he could buy them if he wants. He could buy us those beers.
I know, but he's over in England, man.
Well, he could send us some pounds and buy us those beers.
Send us some pounds, 2 pounds, some beers.
No, yeah, it's like I think England is like what they go by the currency is pounds, correct?
I think so.
I just saw it in the movie, so if I'm wrong, go ahead.
Tom, correct us.
Yeah,
if we're wrong, Tom, we're sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're gonna go. So the Ducks, they they start out in Vegas. Coming up here, it's just right around the corner. Just under 2 weeks. They're starting out in Vegas on the 14th, and then of course they then have the home opener on the 15th. Crappy scheduling in the beginning, but yeah, we'll both be there for the home opener on the 15th. I'll possibly be there on the 19th as well. That game against Dallas. And then we'll see. Just my schedule's so crazy. I got so much stuff going on. So I don't know how many games I'm going to get to this year, but I'm going to try to get to as many as I can.
Same here. With my job, I have a new project going on, and then running the business. It's like I have no time to breathe sometimes. It sucks. But I thought about going to the one in Vegas. I was like, that'd be pretty cool. Go to Vegas and the next day go after. But honestly, I'm a degenerate, and I know if I go to Vegas, I'm not going to make it to the next game. So I'll go to the home opener and not waste my time being inebriated in Vegas for the next 3 days after that.
Yeah, my better half and I recently just went to Vegas for a preseason game, and it was fun. We went and checked it out and hung out. But yeah, trying to go to a game there and then turn around and then come back here. No, man, that'd be rough. Saturday night in Vegas. Oh, my God, dude. That would be rough. Extremely rough.
Oh, I'd be hungover for the next 3 days. I'm like, man, it's like every year I get older, the hangovers just suck even more. It's terrible.
Oh, I'm with you. I've been cutting back a little bit. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. You know, getting older sucks. Another thing about the season, the Mighty Jerseys asked us too, is like, what do we think the Ducks will do, or how will they do wearing the 30th anniversary jersey? They'll play 15 games. I remember I used to keep track of this and post it on Twitter back in the day, before it was X, the record. I guess I'll keep track this year, but I don't know. I think with the 30th jerseys, I haven't looked at the schedule who they're playing, but I'm thinking maybe 500 or a little bit under 500. What do you think, Eddie? How do you think they'll do wearing that 30th jersey?
Oh my God, jersey's so ugly. I don't like it. You know what's worse too is that stupid patch, that advertising patch, and how they have it's so cluttered. It's that their captain, or I'm sorry, not captain. They don't have a captain this season, but the A next to the
yes.
Just, I don't know. Honestly, I hope they go freaking 0 for 15 on those ugly jerseys. It's just terrible. I'm saying it right there. I'm sorry about that, but it's just those jerseys are terrible. The Mighty Jerseys, thank you. You're a good follower. You always have great questions. Love your post. Love you tag me on the post about the Ducks and Colorado Avalanche jerseys. So I like the Avs too. So I appreciate that. But yeah, something has to give with these jerseys. It's just terrible. They have their 30th anniversary patch. They have that advertisement. They have the A. It's like what's going to happen next season? You're going to add more and more and more. It's dumb. But yeah, I hope, as ugly as these jerseys were, and they had so much potential, and the whole jersey is awesome, the logo sucks. That's why I told you guys before in previous shows that I'm going to buy 2 jerseys. Just one I can have, that I can collect. The other one I'm going to strip that freaking logo off and add the Mighty Ducks logo on there. I think it'll look a lot better. So, looking forward to that. But yeah, my prediction is 0 for 15, and I hope that happens. Except if we go to the games, then I'll take 1 or 2 wins if we're there.
And if you're concerned about the patch, the sponsor patch, Cool Hockey is going to have the jersey soon without it. So I am going to buy it from them. Just, you all know I'm a jersey nut. I have every single Ducks jersey that they've ever worn. I even have some custom ones that I've had made that don't exist. I even have custom hats that don't exist. I think I posted them on social media before, but I've got some old school flex fit hats with the Mighty Ducks logos and practice jerseys with the Mighty Ducks logos that I ended up actually buying the patches, the hat size patch and the crest size patch and the jersey separate, and then ironing them on either the hat or the jerseys. I'll probably have to dig those up and post them so show you guys those. But I'm really nuts when it comes to jerseys. I have a lot of jerseys and everything, and I'm with Eddie on that. You have the sponsor on there, then you have the 30th patch, and then you have the A next to the 30th patch. It just doesn't look right. It just doesn't. It's just I'm like, what? This is a mess. It's just a mess, man. Whatever. The team's gonna do what they're gonna do. I won't buy a jersey with that patch, or if I do, I will remove it.
Yeah, I won't at all. I think it's stupid. They're not going to save you money on the jerseys. You're pretty much a walking advertisement. I'm not doing that crap. Hockey had the prestigiousness of having our sweaters, our hockey jerseys, be something that weren't available for for companies to have, and I think it's a sellout. And like I said, if my business was thriving and I made billions of dollars, millions of dollars, I would buy advertisement space on a hockey jersey and not put my advertising on there. Just make a point. And that would go a hell of a long way with hockey fans, but it's dumb, and I'll never do it. Like I said, either buy from Cool Hockey, don't buy from the team store. Especially how ridiculous that stupid company said, hey, with the first 100 jerseys that people buy with our ad on there, we'll give you $10. Like, are you kidding me? That's a slap in the face. That company can go to hell. Screw them. And they have the bad reviews, anyways, on what Yelp and social media, that how they treat their customers and stuff like that. Screw them. They can just They can eat a bowl of dicks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful who you pick, right? I mean, the Kings jersey I saw, they had Mercury Insurance on there. And if you know Mercury Insurance logo, it's usually like a yellow, red type logo. But what they did is they put it on there in black and silver. And honestly, I didn't really notice it. It completely blended in with the Kings jersey. I didn't really see it until someone mentioned it. That's another thing too. I mean, if you're gonna do it, maybe make it the colors of the team at least. Like, I mean, because Mercury Insurance, they changed it. They went from their red yellow logo to black and silver, and it blended in right with the jersey. You hardly noticed it. Like that is okay with me. Like, I'm with Eddie. I don't like it in general at all. I think I don't. It's terrible. But I mean, if a company's willing to change the colors a little bit and blend it in, then that's at least better than this weird logo on there. That's whatever. I don't know. So I did see that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I would go with Cool Hockey for that jersey in particular. It won't have it on there. Monkey Sports is a big one I like too. I used to have a connect there. He moved on, went to another company, but they were always super cool with me. Putting stuff on. I took so many jerseys to them, and shit, man, I spent so much on customizations with them, and they were freaking awesome. So that's another one I recommend as well. Those are probably the two big ones that I would recommend. But yeah, overall this season, I'm excited. It's going to be, I think it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. It's going to be competitive. I'm ready to get going and see what's going to happen. With everything, I'm excited. We had a lot of good fan questions already on Instagram. We're going to keep this going. We did a bunch of giveaways. Eddie talked about going to bars and stuff. We have Noble Ale Works is where we're going to have watch parties this year. I don't know how many we're going to do. We had several last year. I remember we had one where you guys came out in the rain and we were watching the game. That was freaking awesome. So we're going to be doing that as well to hang out. And then... let's see what else we got going on. Oh, the other thing, too, is a lot of people asked about this. And, Eddie, I'll let you talk about it. But we will have fantasy hockey again.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. I changed it up a little bit. I'm kind of following a format that another fantasy hockey league I'm in. It works better than what it has before. I limit the players. It seems a little excessive the last few times, but it should be fun. Hopefully you guys will. I mean, you guys are all enthusiastic about it, so thank you. And you guys are wanting it, so thank you for that. I'm going to have the link posted up tomorrow for the fantasy hockey. I'm thinking about doing a paid one too. If we all pitch in like $20 with 20 people, and we'll just have a Ducks and Pucks paid one the first time we did. And first prize will obviously be a higher denomination. Second place will probably be like double or triple your money. Third place will be just getting your money back. And if you guys are interested in doing that, I know some people are more enthusiastic about fantasy hockey when they're paying for it. And also, too, go ahead and hit up Mike, too, and bother him to join the Ducks and Pucks Fantasy Hockey, because he hasn't done it in the last few years. So if you guys bother him enough, maybe he might do it. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to running this and hanging out and talking to all you guys and having some good competitive stuff. And we're going to, first place, well, Mike, if that's cool, we'll give away a jersey for the first place winner. Second and third place, we'll give, other prize like Ducks and Pucks swag or some other things throughout the season too. We can just kind of give out the people that join the fantasy hockey. Like if you have extra tickets, Mike, that you couldn't sell, we can just give out to the people that are part of the fantasy hockey and go from there. But I'm looking forward to doing this. I'm looking forward to having a good season with all you guys, and thank you in advance for signing up.
Yeah, and we'll keep rolling. Like Eddie and I said, we'll probably do a show. I don't know if we'll do it every week, maybe every 2 weeks, but it just kind of depends on what's going on. We got lucky, obviously, with Zegras and Drysdale coming up, because we were kind of thinking about pushing this show to next week before they actually started the season. But now that they've got both those guys back, we're like, all right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about these contracts. Happy to have them back and rolling. Kind of gave you a preview on this show about the rosters. Obviously, there's still some more movement to do. The Ducks still have several days to make some more cuts and adjustments. We'll kind of see what happens with that. And we'll just keep you up to date as the news rolls around. Check everything on our link tree website now. It's link then tr.ee/DucksNPucks. Everything's on there. You can subscribe. I remember one of the links I posted was wrong, and someone told me, so I appreciate you for telling me that, because I had to punch in all the stuff on there. But we're on there. We're on TikTok now. We have a funny video of Max Jones on there doing a Happy Gilmore swing. If you haven't seen it, go on to TikTok and check it out. Some a-hole took our name, so it's on TikTok. It's Ducks and, like the word and, Pucks. It's not DucksNPucks, so it's Ducks and Pucks as far as the handle name on there. On TikTok, it's kind of the way it is. Sometimes people grab stuff, and I laugh because some of those accounts are like totally inactive or very minor, but you can check it out on there. Every single link is on that link tree thing. And if you want, join our Patreon too as well. If you want more free t-shirts and stuff, go on there. You'll automatically sign up and get stuff. Martha just signed up recently, so I got to thank her. I've got stuff to send you. Don't let me forget. She's a big fan of the show, so I've got stuff to send her. And I know a lot of you guys did some giveaways. We did hats and shirts and different things this week. I've had a really busy week. I'm going to get those mailed out to you, I promise. I've just been slammed this week. It's been crazy. But follow along. We'll have tons of stuff to give away. We've been doing stuff on pretty much all the platforms, getting stuff out there and posting the news. Appreciate you guys following us. Like we said, we're doing our own thing. We're not. We're just kind of independent. And we've been doing it since 2014. This is our 10th year, Eddie. I mean, holy crap, dude.
Well, how long I've been part of the show too? It feels like I remember first talking to you in Colorado. I think you DM'd me like, "Oh, you're in the military and you respect it a lot." I bought some shirts from you. You were like, "Hey, I'll send them to you for free." And I was like, "No, I'll pay for them. Just like donate the money," which you did. And we just started talking from there. I just really admired you and everything you did. I was a big fan of the show. And then the stars aligned, and one day you lost your other co-host. Man, you hit me up like, "Hey, do you want to try jumping on the show?" Which I was like hesitant because I didn't know I can, I was just nervous. Like I never really did a podcast or anything like that. I didn't think I had anything to offer, and especially to live up to your expectations and how you do it. But now it's like I'm glad I did, and I'm glad that I took that chance, and I'm glad that you gave me the opportunity. So I want to thank you for that. And I love talking hockey. I love interacting with people that listen to us, the fans, and just kind of gaining that kind of like friendship with people. And we have that whole correlation of we all love hockey, we all love Ducks hockey, so it's been really cool, and I'm looking forward to another great season. So Mike, thank you for that. Thank you for everyone that's followed. Thank you for the messages and all the support you've given me over the years too. So I'm really happy to be part of Ducks still.
Yeah, I am too, and I'm glad. Yeah, the way it worked out, it's funny. Met a lot of good people doing this, and it's been it's just been fun. It's something that we do on the side. We don't do this for a living. We don't make money. We're not part of any group. We just kind of do our own thing. We cover the Ducks, and that's it. And I appreciate the interaction. If you think we're a Zegras fanboy, that's cool. I like it too. I don't mind. No, seriously, I love it. I love it when people, if you disagree and you have a comment and you want to throw it on social media, and we can talk about it and it'll be all good. Obviously respectfully, but yeah, man. I mean, we're not always right. I mean, Eddie and I aren't right. We just try to give you all the information that's going on with the Ducks, and then we throw in our 2 cents about what we think's going on, and try to have some fun with it. And that's really about it. So,
well, yeah, that's the most important. It's fun. Like this is all for fun, and I want to shout out too, like all the other blogs and podcasts too. Like some people don't like us and think we're competition. I don't see it like that. We're all here covering the same sport, the game that we love, and I wish all of them and everyone else success and just to have fun in doing what they do. And that's the most important thing, is we all have fun together. My goal eventually one day, we just all come together and we all just have one big podcast with all the other podcasters, and we could just all talk about, Ducks hockey. And I think that would be great for all the fans. But yeah, like you said, Mike, the biggest thing you said was fun. That's what all this is just having fun, talking about the game we love and the team we love.
Yeah, exactly. And I echo what you said too. There's a lot more people out there covering the team, and that's great. I love it. There's way more people doing podcasts and articles and stuff, and that's good. It seemed like 10 years ago there wasn't really a whole lot of people out there. There was like us and like one or two other maybe outlets out there. Now I've kind of lost track. There's a bunch of people, out there just going nuts. Covering the team, and that's awesome. I applaud that. So it's fantastic, and obviously all of you guys, you listen to us, and if you listen to other people, that's great too. If you like us and we're your favorite, that's cool too. I'm happy. Yeah, and if you think we're full of crap, hey, that's cool too. Either way, I'm glad you listen and check out the show, and I'm always down to rap about hockey and everything. So. With that, though, yeah, we'll wrap up the show. And like we said, we'll probably be doing a show every couple weeks, just kind of depending on the way things happen with the team and whatnot. Appreciate your support, and let's go Ducks.